Talk to my deaf daughter, mocked the arrogant billionaire, but the black waitress froze him. Leonard Drayton didn't walk into places. He conquered them. The towering billionaire entered Copper Elm Steakhouse with the confidence of a man who believed the world bent itself around his shadow. Whispers followed him like obedient dogs. Everything about him said untouchable. Except today, his edges were fraying. Beside him walked Dahlia, his 8-year-old daughter, small, quiet, her eyes wide and alert. Her hands fiddled constantly, flashing unintentionally at a rhythm only she understood. Dahlia was deaf, something Leonard never fully accepted. He treated it not as a fact of life, but as an inconvenience he wanted the world to fix for him. He ushered her inside with a forceful palm on her shoulder. "Sit straight. Don't fidget," he muttered. Dahlia looked down. Across the room, Maya, a black waitress in her 20s, watched quietly. She had learned to read micro-expressions the way others read menus. She saw Dahlia's hands and recognized the silent language immediately. Leonard snapped his fingers sharply when Maya approached the table. "You," he ordered. "Tell my daughter what the specials are."
He smirked.
"Oh, wait.
She's deaf."
"Go ahead, talk to her. Maybe she'll magically understand you." A few guests chuckled. Dahlia shrank. Maya blinked slowly, absorbing the cruelty behind the fake humor. She didn't flinch. Instead, she bent slightly, meeting the girl's eyes gently. Dahlia lifted her head, startled by the kindness. Leonard tapped the table impatiently. "Well, say something to her. I want entertainment." That was the moment the entire restaurant shifted, one of those quiet, cinematic moments the universe holds its breath for. Maya didn't use her voice. She raised her hands and began signing. Her fingers danced through the air effortlessly. "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Maya. Would you like to see the menu? I can help you choose something yummy." Dahlia gasped. Her whole face bloomed. "You know sign," she signed rapidly. "Yes," Maya replied with her hands. "Very well." The restaurant froze. Leonard's face drained of color. His smirk collapsed. Dahlia touched Maya's hands like she was touching light itself. "You talk like my teacher," Dahlia signed. "But nicer." Maya smiled warmly. "Because you deserve kindness." Leonard's jaw tightened. "That's enough," he snapped, louder than necessary. But the room wasn't looking at him anymore. They were looking at Maya, at the connection, at the humanity, at the truth. And for the first time in years, Leonard Drayton did not own the room. The waitress did. And she wasn't even trying. Leonard leaned back in his seat, forcing calmness into his voice though irritation trembled beneath it. "How do you know sign language?" he asked Maya sharply, as if it were offensive. Maya answered politely. "My younger brother is deaf. I grew up signing. It's normal to me." "Normal," Leonard repeated with a scoff, glancing at Dahlia. "I've spent millions on specialists, tutors, experts. But apparently the only person she responds to is a waitress." The venom in that last word landed like a slap. Dahlia looked away, hands still trembling with excitement from their brief exchange. She wanted to sign more, to ask Maya dozens of questions, but she felt her father's tension like a storm cloud. Maya noticed. She placed the menu in front of Dahlia gently and signed again. "It's okay. You're safe." Dahlia smiled, small, but real. Leonard's nostrils flared. "She understands you better than me." "That's not her fault," Maya replied quietly. The billionaire stiffened. For the first time, someone said it plainly. Dahlia tugged lightly on Maya's sleeve. "Can you stay?" she signed shyly. Leonard slammed his palm on the table.
"No."
Dahlia jumped. Maya flinched but didn't back down. Her gaze held Leonard's, steady and unafraid. "Sir, with respect," she said, "your daughter is not broken. She communicates beautifully. The problem is not her ears." Gasps sprouted across nearby tables. Leonard's face reddened with embarrassment, or rage. Maya wasn't sure.
"Do your job," he snapped.
"Not whatever emotional lecture this is." Maya swallowed the sting. She'd seen this kind of man before, powerful, loud, terrified of anything he couldn't control. She turned to leave, but Alia grabbed her hand. Her little fingers spelled out a plea. Please don't go. Maya leaned down and signed softly. I'll be right back. I promise. Alia nodded bravely. Leonard watched the entire exchange with a strange look, something mixed between confusion, jealousy, and a wound he pretended he didn't have. He wasn't used to being the outsider, least of all in his own daughter's world. He clenched his jaw as Maya walked away. This waitress had just exposed something he didn't want anyone to see, that his empire meant nothing here, that his daughter trusted a stranger more than him. And though he didn't say it out loud, his pride whispered something dangerous. This cannot happen again. The restaurant had returned to its usual hum, but something felt different, like the air itself now followed Maya's hands rather than Leonard's voice. Every server, bartender, and diner who had witnessed the moment replayed it silently in their minds. Maya moved toward the kitchen, but she didn't rush. She needed a breath, not because she feared Leonard, but because she feared what men like him did when confronted with their own failures. They never reacted gently. In the kitchen doorway, Chef Julian raised an eyebrow. You okay? I will be, Maya said. Just a difficult man. Julian snorted. That one? Comes here twice a month. Never smiles. Tips big money but not with a good heart. Maya shook her head. Money can't soften fists people don't see. Julian blinked. You think he hurts the kid? No, Maya replied softly. But sometimes silence can bruise deeper than hands. She grabbed Alia's order, a simple mac and cheese, requested with timid hands during their brief exchange, and returned to the dining room. Leonard was scrolling on his phone aggressively, pretending to be busy. But his eyes flicked up the moment Maya approached. Alia straightened in her seat, hopeful. Maya set the plate gently in front of her. Your food, she signed with a small flourish. Alia's face lit up as she signed back. Thank you. Leonard's jaw twitched at the sight. She can read lips, he grumbled. You don't need to do all that. Maya kept her voice calm. Sign language isn't all that. It's her voice. Leonard scoffed. Her voice is whatever she learns to use properly. I didn't spend money on speech therapy for nothing. Maya inhaled slowly. She signs because it's natural to her. It's not a downgrade. It's not a problem. It's her world. You should try stepping into it. Several diners subtly watched. Leonard forced a smile, one made of glass. I step into enough worlds. I run companies. I create jobs. I don't need advice on parenting from a girl who brings plates to tables. A hush fell around them, but Maya didn't raise her voice. She simply signed to Alia again. Eat slowly.
Enjoy.
You're safe. Alia held back tears. Leonard noticed, but didn't know how to read what he saw. He shifted uncomfortably. What did you say to her? He demanded. That she's safe, Maya replied. Leonard froze. He didn't understand why those words shook him.
They shouldn't have.
He was her father, her provider, her protector. But that's what unsettled him. Why would his daughter need to be told she was safe? And why hadn't he said it first? Maya stepped back slowly. If you need anything else, I'll be nearby. She turned, but before she could leave, she felt a small tug at her apron. Alia signed, hurriedly and fearfully. Will you come back? Maya nodded once. Always. Leonard's eyes followed Maya as she walked away, not with lust, not with anger, but with something rare for a man like him. Conflicted respect. Because for the first time, he realized she wasn't challenging him. She was exposing him to himself. Alia had learned the world's rules early, not from words, but from the vibrations beneath them. The slam of a door, the shake of a table, the sharpness of footsteps. Without sound, the world spoke differently to her, and she listened with everything she had. Her father loved her. Yes, she knew that. But love wasn't always gentle, and fear wasn't always loud. She felt both deeply. She slowed her eating as Leonard typed furiously on his phone. Emails.
Deals.
Endless responsibilities that seemed to define him. But no matter how busy he acted, she could feel his energy buzzing. Irritated, tense. She tapped the table twice, a subtle signal she had used since she was 4. I need you. He didn't look up. She tapped again. I'm scared. Still nothing. Finally, she reached across the table and touched his wrist. He jerked his hand away instinctively, like her fingers were flame. Alia recoiled, tears filling her eyes. Leonard froze. He hadn't meant it. He wasn't angry at her. He was angry at the waitress, the restaurant, the spotlight he didn't ask for. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. Before he could speak, Maya appeared again, quiet, steady. Alia signed something desperate and fast. She understands me. You don't. Leonard blinked, confused. What did she say? Maya hesitated. She didn't want to embarrass him. She's frustrated, she said simply. She wants connection. Leonard leaned back. I give her everything. Maya shook her head gently. You give her everything money can buy. But she needs the one thing you've avoided. And that is your patience. Maya looked him in the eyes. And your effort to meet her where she is. The room held its breath again. Leonard swallowed hard. I'm doing my best. You're doing what's comfortable, Maya replied softly. Not what she needs. Alia watched them, reading their faces, reading their hearts. For the first time ever, she saw someone stand up for her in a language her father understood. Truth. Maya stayed near the table, not hovering, but present, ready. The tension around Leonard was thick as wet cement. The billionaire leaned forward. Translate something for me, he said stiffly. What does she want from me? Really? Maya knelt beside Alia and asked gently in sign, what do you want your father to understand? Alia hesitated. She looked at Leonard, this giant of a man who towered over boardrooms yet trembled at vulnerability. Then she signed slowly, each movement deliberate. I want him to talk with me the way I talk, not just the way he wants. Maya translated. Leonard's face cracked, barely but enough. Alia continued signing. I want him to stop treating my silence like something he needs to fix. Maya translated again. The billionaire sat back in his chair, stunned. No negotiation. No stock exchange. No competitor had ever disarmed him like this. Alia's hands trembled as she signed. I hear love differently, but I still hear it. Maya felt her throat tighten as she translated the words. Leonard clasped his shaking hands under the table. He had never felt so small. The restaurant dimmed as evening shadows stretched across the floor. Leonard stared at his daughter, not at her silence, not at her limitations, but at the world inside her he had never entered. His voice dropped. I don't know how, he whispered. Maya stepped forward. Then let her teach you. Alia watched them, disbelief softening into hope. Leonard swallowed. Can you show me? Just one thing. Maya nodded. Start with this. She signed slowly. I love you. She guided his hands. Leonard copied awkwardly. His fingers fumbled, twisted wrong, but the intention was pure. Alia gasped. Tears flooded her eyes. She touched her father's hands gently and corrected his final motion. He repeated it perfectly. Alia cried openly. Leonard's chest cracked open. For the first time in her life, her father had spoken her language. When their food arrived, Maya stepped aside, but Leonard turned to her. You're good with her. Too good.
His voice softened.
No one has ever reached her like that. Maya hesitated. I know what she feels like, she admitted. My brother grew up thinking he was broken because people treated him that way. Leonard looked down. And you? I decided I'd never let anyone feel unseen if I could help it. Leonard exhaled, defeated. I've been failing her. No, Maya said. You just haven't been seeing her. When Maya stepped away to serve another table, Leonard watched her go, conflicted. Alia tugged his sleeve gently. He looked at her. She lifted her hands and signed. Try again. He nodded. They practiced quietly, clumsy, imperfect, beautiful. For the first time, Alia felt her father reaching toward her rather than dragging her toward him. People around the room pretended not to stare, but everyone saw it. A billionaire learning humility from a waitress and a child. After dinner, as they prepared to leave, Leonard approached Maya with something rare in his eyes: sincerity. "Thank you," he said quietly. "You didn't just help her. You helped me." Maya smiled. She did the hard part. Kids always do. Alia rushed forward and hugged Maya tightly. Maya bent down and whispered in sign, "You are perfect as you are." Alia nodded fiercely, tears spilling. Outside, under the restaurant lights, Leonard knelt in front of his daughter. He signed slowly, "I'm sorry." Alia froze. He continued, "I will learn. I promise." Alia threw her arms around him. For once, Leonard didn't care who watched, who whispered, or who judged. Because in that moment, he wasn't a billionaire. He wasn't a public figure. He wasn't a man hiding behind pride. He was a father, finally learning to listen to the daughter who had been speaking to him all along.